places, my body, head, and soul. Many miles away, I could start a perfect story. I found myself and find out glory. This deceptive world, giving me the sign, giving me the sign. Giving me the sign, giving me the sign.
Welcome everyone to tonight's show. You are here with us, the Sci-Fi Queens, where we explore the female characters in science fiction television shows, movies, books, and art. If sci-fi has a female in it somewhere in some genre, we will be exploring it.
Yes.
If you are new to our channel, welcome. My name is Nita, and this is the Queen of Chaos, Navia. You are so bad. That will be explained later. But we just ask that you subscribe so that you know when our show is up next, and all of our shows here at Spectrum, and hit that notification button so you do not miss a show. Okay. And Navia and I would like to give a special thanks to Holodeck 4, Casey.
Yes.
And for these beautiful tiaras that she sent us. Matching tiaras. I don't know if you guys can see the colors.
No, I don't think
pink. Mine is pink. Hers is blue. And they're beautiful. We thank you. We appreciate them so very much. And tonight we have a great show. And our third queen is on her way. She's running a little late, saving lives in the hospital.
Yes.
Quite literally, that's what she's doing. And so she's running a little bit behind, but she's going to be hopping in and joining us soon. And tonight, we are going to be talking about the female characters of the amazing television show Fringe.
Fringe.
So let's get right into it. I just had to play it twice. It's so good. It's so
bumping.
Good. It's so good. It's bumping. So Navia, you're kind of new to Fringe because it was something that I kind of asked you guys to be a part of. I am a huge Fringe fan. I have seen all 5 seasons several times.
Oh,
not ashamed to say it. Not ashamed to say it. But what are your thoughts on these amazing women? We're going to start with Olivia Drummond, who is played by Anna Torv. This beautiful goddess right here. Talk to me about your thoughts on this character.
Before I do that, can I show you something, Nita? It's a surprise.
Absolutely. It's a surprise. You're going to show me a surprise?
That I have.
Oh, yes! That is amazing. Yes.
Merch, guys. I don't know where. Yep. We got merch now.
We have merch. Our merch store has all of our Sci-Fi Queen merchandise. At the end of the show, you will see that commercial that's going to be put on here and lead you to that. You could get, t-shirts, cups, mugs, all kinds of beautiful stuff. That's a great interruption. I like that one. I did not know you have gotten the shirt. I haven't gotten the shirt yet. I am looking forward to full-on merch.
That's right. That's right. All right. Back to Olivia.
Olivia Drummond.
So I have to say, I do like her. I'm treading very carefully. I do like her, but I feel like this cast is so amazing and just so unique. Her character kind of got lost for me a little bit. It was really difficult for me to relate to her, even really for her to stand out. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I just like really weird characters. And there's so many on the show. The rest of them are so weird and they're so outstanding. But then I was thinking about other TV shows where male characters are very competent at their job and just they're like Olivia. And I'm just like, and we're always so in awe of them. Like Olivia can be a very competent character. She might stand out, but she's a great main character and she gets the job done at the end of the day. And kudos to her for that. So she's great. I just had a hard time.
That's okay.
Getting into her.
She's my crush. I love her. I think she is amazing. I've seen her in quite a few things outside of Fringe.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, and this is one of my favorite pictures that I have of her.
Yes.
And I'm gonna go to why, but yeah, she was on a couple of episodes of The Last of Us.
Okay.
She's Australian. She was in an Australian show, which I can't remember for the life of me the name, which I saw. I thought it was fantastic. But it's been a while.
Australia's a real country.
Yeah. It's a beautiful country.
It's a beautiful country.
It's a beautiful country. And she was also in Mindbender, I think it was the name of the show, where she was also a police officer, I believe, a FBI agent also. She's really, to me, one of the most amazing female sci-fi characters, because I think that she does not embody, and the way she was written was so good because she didn't embody that stereotypical female character. She wasn't unapproachable. She wasn't like harsh, but she was not in any way, shape, or form cuddly.
Yeah.
She's not someone that you'd be like, girl, let me give you a hug. Because she's not gonna do that, right? She might take a gun out on you or something, right? And I love the way that she was written because she dressed like an FBI agent.
Yeah.
They did not sexualize this character at all. And as you continue to see the seasons, you're going to see her develop and grow and see that is something that they continue to do, which I love because they don't take away from how beautiful she is. And it's there. It's definitely there. But it's not something that is the main focus. You know, you see a lot of these police shows and these detectives are running in like 6-inch heels.
Yeah.
We barely could walk in them. Who runs in heels, right? That's why I love this picture, because you can clearly see she got some serious FBI shoes right there.
Yeah. You know, one more thing about the writing, I was thinking about how if you were to just make this character a male character, you wouldn't, like, there would be no difference. Like, you could, Olivia Dunham is her name? 100% could 100% be a male character. You wouldn't even have to change one thing.
Absolutely. 100%.
So kudos to the writers for doing that.
Absolutely. And I love how she handles all this weird science that happens. You know, Fringe is about that impossible science. The science that doesn't exist, the science that can't happen, but that it's happening behind the scenes and no one knows about it, right?
Yeah.
And I love how she just embraces this, the weirdness.
Yeah, she just jumped in. She wasn't like, oh my God, what is this? Y'all are so weird. Like, none of it. She was just like, okay, what do I need to do? How do I solve this? How do we close this case? Like, woman jumped in and just went for it.
Yep. When her boss says, I will prove anybody you want, just get me the team that you need, she comes back with someone who's been in a mental institution for 17 years.
Yeah.
And says, that's who we need.
Yeah. She did her research. She was like, this is what I need. This is what's going to help me, like, close these cases the quickest. This is the solution. Here you go. Give it to me, please.
And she goes to Iraq to find the son because no one can visit him. Like, he's like in a maximum security kind of mental institution, right? So now he needs the son. She needs the son. And she goes and she goes all the way to Iraq, and she handles the animosity so well because he's belittling her, just like her boss did in the beginning. If you remember that first episode, he goes, liaison. I wouldn't want to punch them in the neck for that. But she handles it so professionally.
Yeah.
And she knows that everything she does as a woman is looked at differently. So she
Yeah.
has to handle herself differently, right? It's unfortunate, but that is the society that
Yeah.
we live in. That as women, if we get passionate about something, if we are aggressive, it's aggression. It's considered
Yeah.
aggression. You know, if we are touched by something, we're considered emotional. There's
Right.
never like you don't see those terms being used in any other group but us, right?
Yeah.
And I love how she handles herself.
I
You know,
I like when she went to go get Peter, she didn't really ask for permission. She was like, okay, I want Walter, but I need Peter. So she just flies across the rock, she gets him, and then go gets Walter, and then she's like, here's my team. I'm ready. Let's
yeah,
do this.
yeah, and she lied to Peter.
Yeah, I forgot about that. She did.
Yeah, she lied. She lied to a man who's has made it his mission to know when people are lying and got away with it.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Don't mess with a woman who wants a man healed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
She was on a mission. She's passionate, and I thought that that first episode, since it was about someone she was involved with, that passion wouldn't translate. But I don't know if you noticed, it kind of did. Every time she faced a case, she faced it with the same level of intensity.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I forget what the boss lady's name is, but that's what she loves about Olivia, and that's why she wants Olivia on her side. Because she knows
Oh, we're getting to her. You're talking about Nina Sharp.
Yes.
We're getting to Nina Sharp.
Okay.
Ooh, is she a villain? Yeah. Is she a hero?
Right.
I'm gonna toss that out there. Let's, we get into her. We get into her.
Good.
But what was your how did you see her character in science fiction? Like, how do you think her character has influenced science fiction female characters?
I think if you look at the modern FBI agents in science fiction or in like TV shows, they're a lot more regularly dressed. Because I'm thinking of I don't know if you ever watched the show Rizzoli and Isles.
Yes.
Rizzoli, she was in platform heels, running. And I'm just like, girl, that is not okay.
No one does. You'll break your ankle.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
You would just break your ankle. Let's just say it.
Yeah.
Those shoes are for strutting and sitting pretty and looking sexy, but they're not for practical use and running.
Yeah.
They're just not.
I also like how she was allowed to have a love interest and it was okay. With Scott, that's his name, for the guy that she fell in love with and then he disappears. What's his name?
You're talking about her partner?
Yeah, her partner.
Yeah, yes. I forget the agent's name, but yes. The other agent's name.
At the beginning, they let her grieve and they let her be in love with him and grieve that. Because in other TV shows, it's just kind of oh, you're being a woman, get over it, or you're being too emotional, get over it, or it's just swept under the rug. That didn't happen. We saw her deal with this. At least I'm on the first 2 seasons. She's still dealing with it, and that's amazing for a TV show.
Yep, and I like how they wrote. And I know that the Sci-Fi Queens, we focus more on the female characters.
Yeah.
But in this show, if you look at the male characters, they were written with a very feminist heart because they didn't approach her emotions, like you said, in a get over it.
Yeah.
They respected. No, you're grieving. This is okay. These things happen, and and those are things that I felt that were important.
Yeah, I agree. When I first started watching the series, I was very afraid of the fact that she had a love interest and she wasn't getting over him. Because, we've seen that before. A woman just gets obsessed with it and, gives up her job and her career because she can't get over it. Not Olivia. She, pushed through it. I'm so proud of her for that.
Oh, absolutely. I think that was wonderful. That she was able to get through that. But then we have the one that I really consider her partner, which is Astrid, played by Jessica Nichols. Okay,
Oh,
the
gosh.
brilliant, the beautiful Astrid. She is amazing.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy this character. And now we must pause because our
Annie's
beautiful
here.
Annie has
Hi.
arrived.
Hi,
What's
Annie.
up, ladies?
We are just getting
Yeah.
started.
Awesome.
You have a crown too.
Yay! We're matching.
I love it.
I did not realize you were gonna wear a crown too. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Annie,
I had to match you guys.
I'm sure the Sci-Fi Queens merch. We got it officially.
I love it. Oh, I
It's
love it.
beautiful, right? She looks
That's the
fantastic
best.
with it.
Yes.
Yes. We need to get some merch and match with her, girl.
Yes.
Yes.
Now we're talking about Annie, we're talking about Olivia Drummond. We were about to go into Astrid, but we're gonna
Yes.
pause on Astrid. We're gonna go. What are your thoughts on Olivia Drummond and her character, her influence in science fiction, how her character was written? What is going through your mind when you see this?
Right? First of all, I love that they made her like a practical FBI agent.
Mhm.
She has everything that she needs to complete her job and do it skillfully, and she's like a total badass. And they don't like, I feel like so many shows, maybe not necessarily science fiction, but like just regular TV shows that involve female like police officers or FBI agents or whatever, they make them like sexy FBI agents. Like
Yeah.
like someone is gonna literally be like chasing down a criminal in like a pencil skirt or something. Like that's not
Yes.
gonna happen. Like she is gonna like take him down. You know what I mean? Like she's taking people down like badass, normal human being. Not like, oh, I have to be wearing like this slinky dress or like this like super like skin tight shirt or like whatever. Like they totally did a great job of just making her like a normal functional person, which is so great and like honestly refreshing. And I don't know if I think that's pretty sad that we find that so refreshing and like so unique.
We shouldn't. That should
We
be
shouldn't.
the way, because I have, I'm in New York City a lot. When presidential campaigns begin, they always, get into the city. And when I used to
Yeah.
work in the city, you always run into Secret Service.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
and now and the women are never in pencil skirts and high heels.
No, exactly.
They are dressed like that
Yes.
or like that. That is how they dress. Okay.
Exactly. And I like her, just they wrote her in like a no nonsense way. Like she's not this like pushover, like, oh, like you don't think I should go find like his son so that I can get permission? Like she doesn't care. She's gonna go to freaking Afghanistan or Iraq or wherever she went, Iraq, to go find him and be like, yo, so I want to like talk to your dad who you haven't seen in like 18 years because he's in a mental institution. Like she like does not give one crap, and I love it.
Nope.
Yes. I mean, that's what she did her research, and I love how they show that as she's doing her research and the science that she does, and she's pulling information, and she came to her boss prepared. This is who I need.
Totally.
This is the team. The only one who can get him out is a little out of the way. I'm about to go now.
That's right.
You know,
Peace out.
we got to do what we got to do. You know. And I totally love that about her, Yeah. And now we were going into Astrid, who is played by Jessica Nichols. This beautiful queen right here.
So beautiful.
I mean, what a brilliant character, right? It's so bad. Because of that,
I knew you were
Annie, you can start Queen Annie and Queen Navia, the chaos queen, proving her
Oh my
worth.
god.
Can go next.
That is so funny. No, and I feel the same way about Astrid. I like her for the same reasons. Not overly sexualized. She gets to be smart. She gets to be useful. She gets to be practical. Like, yeah.
Yes.
I love that. And that's what I enjoy about this show, because honestly, so like apart from like the science fiction element, the science element of it, right? Like, I feel like the only other time that we've really gotten to see women in this super smart, super intelligent, high stakes kind of situation, I feel like the last time I was like this attached to characters because of these reasons, it was when I was doing like a major watch of the show Bones, with the forensic anthropologist. They didn't, the thing that I like about this show too, and that I liked about Bones, I see a lot of similarities between them, is that they don't dumb the characters down. It's not like, oh, I don't know the word for that. Like, oh, someone help me out. Like, they know it and they're smart and like they just take care of business. So I love that.
Yep. And Navia, what are your thoughts on Astrid? I feel like, you know, like the doctor who's always calling Astrid asteroid or something else. You know?
I love Astrid. I love how she just gets in there and then helps Walter with anything he needs. Like deciphering something, she's got it. Dissection, she's got it. Setting up his weird little like experiment, she's got it. At no point is she going, wait, what am I doing? She's like, just I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. Like,
you know what I also noticed about her is, as smart as she is, as smart as this character is, and she is definitely has a wide range of talents and skill sets.
Yeah.
The one thing that is really, really high in my mind is her level of patience and kindness towards Walter. Walter has spent 17 years in a maximum security mental institution with no visitors, and going through something very horrific. I can't imagine 17 years in a psych institution. For something he didn't even really do. And as the show goes, you learn that. But it does something for him. That's why he like obsesses over like, you know, root beer soda or, you know, and she is so kind to him. She knows how to handle him better than sometimes his own son. You know? And I think that I wanted to see more of her. Right? I wanted to see more of her, but I understood that her character really needed to be where she was at because that was kind of what she was written. And I get that, but it would be wonderful to see more of that character.
I agree.
Totally.
Yeah. But then we go into our next beautiful woman. But before we do that, Navia, what are the comments before we go into Nina's shop? What are the comments saying?
Let's see. Sarah says hello. Hi, Sarah.
Hey,
Sarah. United Federation says they love Fringe and can't wait for this. Yes, it's such a great. And then Annie, you missed a couple of my signs, but UFOs loving my signs.
Love it. Love it.
And we've also convinced them to get a t-shirt, so that's great. I'm glad it worked.
Nice. And they're very comfortable. I have a you know, Captain's Quadrant t-shirt, and it's extremely comfortable.
I love that.
Absolutely.
And then Exile Media Production says Fringe had a better season. Lost, seriously, the best thing J.J. Abrams ever done. Okay, I've never seen Lost, so
yes. Well, welcome Exo Media Productions. I think this is probably your first time with us. And I agree. I saw Lost. Lost left you lost at the end. Like I spent all these years watching for this. I don't even understand what happened. But Fringe really gives you, and you guys will get there when you finish it. It gives you a really beautiful closure. It really is. Actually, a lot more heartwarming than I expected. It really was wonderful.
Good to know.
Love that.
And then Holodeck says, love you, the Jaros. Have a good night. Thank you so much for the Jaros. We love them. And then Sarah says, Astrid is a saint with Walter. Yes, she is.
Yes, she is.
I feel like the interactions that we see between her and Walter, it really humanizes him in a way that we didn't get from other characters, especially like initially. You know, they just see him as a problem and this thing to be controlled and whatever. And you really just see just this kinder, gentler person interacting with him. And it makes it kind of like, oh, like we don't have to be like that upset by his actions, or like we can be more understanding and patient with him, especially with like everything that he has been through.
Yeah. And that I think is the thing that people tend to forget. And I think Astrid tends to bring that to the surface, was
Yeah.
that he was away for 17 years. He didn't even know there were car seat warmers. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like the little things are the ones that impress this man, even though he's a genius,
Yeah.
because he is a genius, right?
Totally.
And I think that she learns to appreciate him, and they have almost a father-daughter bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then finally, Geek Filter says, I love the other side. Astrid was modeled after Jessica Nichols' own sister who has autism. Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yes, it's true. It's true. It's true. When you get to the alternate universe
Yeah.
where everyone is doubled, she modeled that character after her sister who has autism.
Oh,
I
wow.
Because
love
you can
that.
see that character is definitely on the spectrum. And I thought
Yeah.
it was a beautiful, and they did it in such a beautiful way. You know, it really was a beautiful portrayal and of a person, you know, who is high functioning, who
Yeah.
has autism, who's on the spectrum. It really truly was beautiful.
And those are the comments for now.
All righty. So let's move on to the beautiful. Is she a villain or is she a hero? Nina Sharp. How beautiful is this woman? I mean,
Amazing.
Gorgeous.
yeah,
So
Red
amazing.
hair, man.
I
know.
love her hair.
Yeah.
So a Queen of Chaos, Navia, talk to me.
She scares me. I don't know if she's good or not. I just know she scares me. I don't know how Olivia's so comfortable with her, because I'd be peeing in my pants like if I had to go up to her office. I don't know. Aren't you guys scared of her? That's the initial reaction every time I see her.
I don't know. I think with me it's I'm uncertain about her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what worries me about her, is
I'm
my
hesitant.
Yeah.
uncertainty. Mhm.
Yeah.
How about you, Annie? How do you feel about her?
Yeah. Hesitant. I don't know how to feel about her exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
love the fact that she's powerful.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like a little intimidating, right? Like I think that is part of the hesitancy.
Super intimidating.
You're like, ooh, okay, like I don't want to step wrong. How do I keep stepping right? You know?
Exactly.
And she's so in control of everything. Everything is under her control.
Yeah.
Like every time Olivia's like, "Have you heard about this?" She's like, "Oh yeah, like here's a whole
Yeah.
file," and you're like,
Yeah.
"Excuse me, ma'am." Like,
Right.
I see massive dynamics as the Amazon of Fringe,
Yeah.
where they're into everything. I've even gotten commercials where Amazon has healthcare, which I don't even want to click and see what that's about,
Right.
because that
Whoa.
freaks me out just a little bit.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's massive dynamic. They're into everything.
Yeah.
And their hands are into everything, and that makes her one of the most powerful women on the
Totally.
show.
She has
Because
all
she
the
has
information and the knowledge, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she had more clearance than Olivia in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
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 That conversation was uncomfortable.
Right.
I was definitely in shock of that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely in
What?
shock of that conversation. When she's like, "Oh, do you think it's part of pattern?" And Olivia goes, "What pattern? Oh, you don't have clearance."
Never
Can
mind.
Can you
Yep.
imagine saying that
But
to
that's
the FBI with that
She-
confidence?
she
Yeah.
wanted Olivia to know exactly who's in charge, and it was her.
Mhm.
For sure. That was like a power move.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a power move. That was definitely strategic. And
yeah.
yeah. And I like the fact that they gave her a prosthetic arm.
Yeah.
I think that takes something that makes her not just unique, but it also makes her fallible.
Yeah.
And she is quite powerful. And if you don't know this about her, you're going, this woman just she's
Dang.
got it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, and she has so much information and working side by side with them, and but again, is she a villain or is she a hero? Is she a good guy or a bad guy? What are your thoughts, uh Annie? Is she where would you put her at this point in
I
what
feel
you
like
have
she's a little
seen?
bit of both. Honestly, like I feel like we see kind of both sides, right? Like I think especially for like Olivia, someone who won't give you all of the information that you want or that you have available, that kind of makes you a villain in that instance, because you're like, what else aren't you telling me? Like it kind of like sows the seeds of doubt, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
well, is there anything like I need to know that maybe I'm not clear for, that like I really should know? Like, help me out here. Oh, you're not gonna help me
Yeah.
out? Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Okay then. But yeah, I don't, she's hard to classify.
How about you, Navia? What are your
I'm
thoughts?
scared of her. I'm sure she's evil. There's no way you can
She's
be
evil.
in charge. No, I mean, there's no way you can be in charge of like a multi-billion-dollar corporation and be
Yeah.
good. I'm sorry. Just can't. I mean, I feel like you have to do something. It might not be extraordinarily evil, but you're not doing good things to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am in the beginning of, and even throughout the entire series, which is 5 seasons,
Yeah.
you question that,
Yeah.
you know, and
Sometimes you really don't.
you wonder, well, whose side is she on?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and I think that she's in the side of massive dynamic.
Uh-huh.
Whatever makes her company flourish and stronger,
She's gonna go with that.
she's gonna go with that because
Yeah.
she knows that's where the real power is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
yeah.
think that she's really daring because I think that when she offered Olivia a job, she wasn't really offering her a job.
It was a
She was,
test.
I
You think?
think it was,
Yeah,
she was
kind of a
testing her.
test.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was absolutely testing her. And that to me really says a lot about that character. But I like
Yeah.
how she's written.
Yeah.
Again, the
Oh yeah.
writers of this story really wrote these women in such a beautiful way. They took every aspect of humanity, put it in women, and they got an amazing cast to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
You
The thing
know,
about her is that I feel like there's like an underlying, because of like the way that she kind of tests her, and like I just feel like there's like
hmm
an underlying level of manipulation, and that's why
Mhm.
I can't classify her, because I'm like, I feel like if you're able to do that, like if you're able to manipulate people in that way, you can't be all good. You know what I mean? You can't.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, there's conflicts for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah, that's why I think that she is not really good or bad. I think
Yeah.
she is a 100% massive dynamic businesswoman.
Yeah.
She's about
Yeah.
that bottom line for her company, and she will do whatever she has to protect that.
Yeah.
And if she has to give information to, Peter Bishop or
Yeah.
Olivia, to any one of them, and it ends up being that it gives Massive Dynamic the upper hand, she's okay with it.
She's
No
fine.
matter how
Yeah.
bad no matter how bad it does for someone else.
Right.
And
Yep.
correct me if I'm wrong, but she started off as a secretary, right? Like she worked her way up. No, am I making that
I
up?
know that as the season goes by, she talks about being in college with Walter
Oh, okay.
and um
The dude, yeah.
and
Okay.
and Bill, which I'm not gonna tell you, but you guys might want to see this show because who he is revealed, and you
Ooh.
two are going to
Oh.
blow your brains out. You're gonna be like, you're going to be in shock at who they got to play the part.
I was like, I thought it was like a plot twist. I thought you were gonna say like
No,
Peter is like in the bill or something.
No,
Right.
the actor they get to play is amazing.
Okay.
Nice.
And you guys know him. I am 100% sure you know this actor. So
I like thinking it's John Delancey from Star Trek.
Right.
Cute appears.
However, I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Okay.
But I think that, they do have like this history, but I think she did work her way little by little because I think she probably built the company with the founders. So, she probably played multiple roles in the beginning. That's kind of like the sense that I get. They don't really say
they don't go into
how they don't give her background details. Although that would have been amazing.
Yeah, that would have been amazing to learn.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, these women are fantastic. The show is fantastic. It gives you goosebumps to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does.
They have a phenomenal cast.
Oh, they absolutely have a great cast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone. Just God, they're all
and
so
the
good.
storylines are
so
really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The science is so far-fetched.
Yeah.
That you just know it's like it blows your brains. It's like, wow. And I think that they did a fantastic job. Absolutely. Any new comments there, Nadia, that you might want to put up?
So Sarah says she thinks a little of both. I think she's referring to what's
Nina.
her name?
Good or bad? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But UFO's on my side. They think she's evil. I agree.
A little evil, yeah.
And they also said her super arm scares me a bit. Agreed, 100%. And then they said she is the female version. I agree. I think Elon's a bit nicer. I don't know. Then Sarah says scary power tripping Nina.
Yeah.
Power tripping.
Yep.
For sure.
And then when Belle turned, this is about the spoilers. Sorry, this is spoiler territory. It's about
no spoiler. Navia and Annie have only watched the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I know what he's referring to. I won't say anything about it because I won't spoil it.
I'm scared.
I am too.
You need to know when you find out who William Bell is played by. I
hope it's like Patrick Stewart or something.
I know.
Your guys are gonna call me in the middle of the night.
I know.
About, oh my god! But we are going to move on to our next segment, which is the real female scientist. Take it away, Annie.
Okay, you did that for
I'm just kidding. I did it on purpose with your little sign.
That's funny.
Okay, but Joe really wants to be acknowledged, so we will throw this up and say, "Hey, Joe, how are you doing?" Now you
Joe.
Leave the comments. All right. Before we get started, I want to give out a little trigger warning because the person we're talking about is a forensic anthropologist, so we'll be talking about it on the live. We're not going into great detail, but if this is not good for your mental health, please click away. We won't be offended. Just come back next show, though. All right, so when I was thinking about who I should pick for this episode, I thought, how cool would it be to find a fringe scientist? And then I thought, the whole science community would probably be really mad at me for advertising a fringe scientist, so maybe not. Instead, today we'll be talking about Clea Koff. She is a British-American forensic anthropologist, and she has a whole bunch of degrees that I'm just going to read off really quickly. From Stanford, she has a degree in anthropology. Then she has a master's of forensics in anthropology from University of Arizona, and then another master in the University of Nebraska. All in forensics and anthropology. And the really interesting thing about her is while she was studying at the University of Nevada, she was asked to join a small group of UN scientists who exhumed victims from the Rwandan genocide. And yeah, and just in case you guys don't know what the genocide is about, I'll give you like a quick Cliff Notes version, but please Google it later on your own time, because obviously we can't cover the nuances of everything. The Rwandan genocide took place between April and July of 1994. It's a 100-day conflict that resulted in 800,000 people dying.
Wow.
It was a civil war between two ethnic groups, the Hutu and the Tutsi. And for those 100 days of killings, the international community just stood aside and did absolutely nothing. And so after the fact, CLIA went in with a group of US scientists, and they exhumed the bodies, and they tried to find the cause of death to prove war crimes had happened.
Wow.
Yeah. And so they found huge burial plots. So they were just taking bones out and trying to identify who was who. Kind of a really scary event. She then went on to becoming the deputy chief of anthropology for the UN, where she then went on missions to Bosnia, Croatia, and Kosovo, who also had their own conflicts around that time. She went there to exhume bodies and basically do the same thing there as well. Eventually, she said this took a toll on her mental health, and she decided to step away. Around the same time, she kind of injured her leg, and she wasn't able to pass the physical to go on more missions. So she started becoming a speaker. And then she started a nonprofit called the the Missing Persons Identifications Resource Center. And this resource center is for unclaimed bodies in California. Apparently right now we have about 4,000 unidentified bodies just in California. Apparently across the United States, it's like 40,000 or something like that. It's a really big number. And some of these bodies, and they're just sitting there. Some of them go back to the 1970s. So it's very sad news to hear. And more recently, she's now become an author. She's written 2 books. One, a memoir called Fringe Women, where you can learn about all her experiences in the UN. It's won a whole bunch of awards, and according to Discovery Magazine, it's like one of the top 10 science books out there that you can read. So
wonderful.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, and that's a very important work because it gives closure to families. You know, and it gives them something that they can bury and, you know, celebrate their death rituals with whatever customs and traditions they may have, which really brings comfort to people. So she does very important work.
Yeah, I just especially after going in after the Rwandan event, I can't imagine.
That must have been so hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Oof. Absolutely sad. Wow. Very sad. But that is a beautiful, beautiful, real female scientist celebration. We have, you know, if you have any scientists, female scientists that you would like Navia to take a look at, leave it in the comments after the show, because the comments here will disappear and we won't be able to see them. And if you like these segments, subscribe and hit that notification button so you can see. But we are going to take a little commercial break. But we are going to return with Annie's book recommendation. And that is the work of our producer, Jace, who does amazing work. So if you have a podcast or any social media content that you want his work done, just reach out to him, hire him. He's awesome. But now we're going to go to. So, Annie, what do you
Yeah.
have for us?
All right. So this week we're going to look at The Martian Chronicles, which is a classic by Ray Bradbury. This was going to be our book last week, but then we were talking about not last week, the week before, but we were talking about Strange New Worlds. And so I just knew I needed to talk about the Strange New Worlds book because it was so good. But this is a book that I read. So I took in college, I took a class about, it was grad school. So you can get like all sorts of just weird oddball classes thrown out there, and it was this class that was about like the probability, mathematical, like statistic probability of extraterrestrial life. And so we got all of these science fiction books like assigned to us for like class reading essentially, and then Ray Bradbury is just so iconic in science fiction. But this I found very interesting because it's a collection of short stories that he does about like the settlement of Mars and kind of, you know, humans landing there and, you know, them kind of settling it, their interactions with Martians and stuff like that. But it's not just like, oh, like we come in peace, like live long and prosper. It's like, what if the Martians would not like us on their planet and they kill us all in like horrible, gruesome ways? Or what if, you know, something there that we end up bringing like a disease to the Martians and we kill them. Like, it's like all these possibilities of what would happen if we had first contact with Martians. And the idea, I think a lot of the conspiracy theories of there being like tunnels underneath where the Martians live on Mars and stuff, I think a lot of those come from this book because he kind of brings that up as a possibility. But all of the stories are very well written. Obviously, it's Ray Bradbury, and just so interesting to think about the way that we interact with other species and the way that we would like them to interact with us, and kind of what it would be like if it wasn't all like happy Vulcans and funny Ferengi and like whatever, you know what I mean? Like, to use Star Trek examples. But you know, what if it was hostile, or like what if it was ugly and it wasn't pretty shiny things that got fixed in 60 minutes? Like, what would that actually be like? And I think Ray Bradbury does a great job just exploring that in his own quirky, interesting way. So that's this week's book, The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury.
Oh, that's a wonderful. You know, I've heard a lot of good things about the Martian Chronicles.
Yeah.
And aren't there a series of books?
So this is a compilation of a series of short stories that he did about it. So I believe that before it was a specific book, I think he released them as like science fiction short stories, and then he basically combined them all into this book, which are The Martian Chronicles. So he basically took all of his short stories about Mars and about what that could look like and kind of compiled them into one large book, which is really cool to read.
That's wonderful. Navia, do we have any comments that you think we should take a look at?
Let's see. Sarah says that's one of the things I truly enjoyed about the show. The show kept me enthralled the entire time. Are you talking about our show? No, I'm kidding. I think
Absolutely.
Yes. It's never boring. I haven't seen an episode where I'm like, this is filler, get me out of here, right? So
yeah, totally.
And then she said she's a good human. Yes, I think this is Claire. She's absolutely an amazing human. So she's actually not the real person who's Bones. There's actually a real person who's Bones through the show. Or
Kathy Wright.
Oh yeah, there you go. So she's not exactly Bones, but she's like Bones, kind of like
she's
Bones.
Pretty close, yeah.
That's a interesting point. Yeah, the show Bones was written by someone about an actual person, and that's not her.
No, it's not her.
Yeah, and I think that question arises because I want to put this up because she's an author of the book called Bone Woman. And that kind of probably that's the first thing that came to mind for me as well.
Yeah. And then Sarah says, sounds like a good read. I like Bradbury. I think that
you will enjoy. If you like Ray Bradbury, you'll like this book. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now we are going to go into on what we are going to be doing in our next show. Our next show will be July 14th, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's going to be a special show. We're going to have a special guest. It is going
Ooh,
to be science fiction and art,
Love
another
this.
artwork done by
I
our
know,
great
so
producer.
beautiful.
And we're going to have a special guest by Jenny Johnson, who is the painter
Ooh,
of
Ooh,
my painting
love
back
that.
here, of Cisco, the Pale Moonlight. And we're going to be talking to her about the influence of science fiction in her journey through art. Because, like I said in my welcome speech that I give every time we're on, this show is about celebrating the women in science fiction, whether that is television, that is a movie, that is a book,
Hmm.
art, animation, wherever there's a female and it's science fiction, we want to address it. So if you guys have a suggestion of a topic that you want us to take a look at, a suggestion of a scientist or a book, if it's in line with what our show is about, let us know in the comments. We prefer if you leave it after the show, because it will be up immediately, only because that will stay there. If you put it in now, it'll disappear on us, and we don't want to
Yeah.
forget to extract that
yeah.
information. So definitely check us out on July 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in the same back channel right here. Do any of my queens have any last minute thoughts that they want to
No,
share?
just that.
That's
Just
so
put
funny.
that in your brain.
The little sad face does it for me.
Too much. She is too much.
That's
All right.
so funny.
Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to
Yes.
subscribe and hit the
Yes.
notification bell. That helps our channel. That helps you to watch our show and not miss it. But
Yes.
thank you for everyone who was new in
Yeah.
the comment section. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining.
Yeah.
And we will see you in 2 weeks.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our new channel so that you can get notified when new videos come up. Thank you for watching our show.